Hi, I'm Jean Edelman. For decades, I've been a student of the healing arts: Reiki, traditional Chinese medicine, homeopathy, acupuncture, plant-based, and macrobiotic cooking. Join me on this journey and hear my thoughts of the week. Welcome to Self-Care with Jean. I'm so glad you're here with me today. This episode is an invitation to slow down, soften, and listen a little more deeply to the wisdom already within us. Today we're going to talk about the clairs. You may have heard these words: clairvoyance, clairsentience, claircognizance, and wondered, what do they mean? Well, we're going to break it down today. I want us to understand that we all have these intuitive gifts, and the goal is to learn how to trust ourselves without fear. The word clair simply means clear. So clairs are ways intuition communicates with us. And while some people naturally experience one more strongly than another, many of us move between several forms throughout our lives. This conversation today, it isn't about becoming mystical or extraordinary. It's about becoming present enough to recognize the subtle language of our own inner knowing. So, dear friends, let's settle in, take a breath, and let's explore together. The first thing I want to say is that intuition is natural. Intuition is not reserved for a chosen few. Intuition is part of being human. Have you ever thought about someone moments before they called? Have you ever walked into a room and immediately felt tension? Have you ever known something in your gut before there was evidence of it? My dear friends, that's intuition. Children, they often access it naturally before they're taught to dismiss it. But adulthood can train us to override our instincts in favor of logic, productivity, and external validation. Clairs simply give language to the ways intuition may arrive. And understanding them can help us trust ourselves more with some compassion. So let's dive in. Let's first talk about clairvoyance. This is basically saying clear seeing. This doesn't necessarily mean dramatic visions or predicting the future. Often clairvoyance is very, very subtle. We may visualize things vividly. We may receive images during our meditation. We may dream symbols. Sometimes maybe we'll see colors or patterns. Clairvoyant people are visual people. They remember things with images more than words. Many are artists, designers, writers. Naturally, these people access their clairvoyance through their imagination. And one beautiful way to strengthen this clairvoyance, this clear seeing, is to simply pay attention to the imagery in our day-to-day life. Pay attention to the dreams, pay attention to the symbols, pay attention to what we are seeing in our mind. Because intuition often whispers through a metaphor, and it's so much fun to be paying attention and to pick up those cues. So, you may be clear seeing. The second one I want to talk about is clairsentience. This is clear feeling. This one many empaths deeply, deeply recognize, and it just means clear feeling. We may experience intuition through emotion, sensation, and energetic awareness. If we are clear feeling, clear sentient, we may feel tension when someone is upset. We may sense the emotional atmosphere of a room. We may absorb other people's moods. We may get chills or physical sensations when something resonates deeply. I have to share, we call these goosebumps. When we are in alignment and something comes through and we get those chills up our arms, that is great validation that we experience some clear feeling. Clear sentient people are often highly, highly compassionate. But the one thing for this gift is that we also need to have strong boundaries. Because one of the challenges of clairsentience is learning the difference between what belongs to me and what am I picking up from others. This is very important. So this is why we want to ground ourselves. And we do that when we walk in nature. We do that when we rest. We do that when we journal. We do that when we pay attention to our breath. We do that in silence. So we need to remember that sensitivity, it's not a weakness, it's information. And sensitivity without boundaries, now that can be exhausting. Our third topic is claircognizance. This is clear knowing. Clear knowing. And you simply know something without understanding how you know it. Sometimes there's no logical explanation or evidence, but there is certainty. We may suddenly know an answer. We may have insights. We may sense what decision is right immediately. And we may receive what we call these downloads. So clear knowing. Many people dismiss this claircognizance, this clear knowing, because it doesn't seem rational. But intuitive knowing often arrives quietly and instantly before the analytical mind catches up. The challenge here is to trust, learning not to argue with ourselves, trusting that wisdom, learning the discernment, because intuition feels calm and grounded, and fear feels urgent and loud, and that distinction absolutely matters. So we've had clear feeling, clear seeing, and clear knowing. The next that I want to talk about is clear hearing. And it just means clairaudience is clear hearing. Again, usually not dramatic. Most often shows up as maybe hearing some guidance or phrases repeated or a song being repeated in our mind. Just this quiet inner voice offering direction. Some experience this as hearing words during meditation or prayer. Others simply notice the wisdom arrives. Writers and teachers sometimes access this clear hearing strongly. The important thing is that the intuitive guidance tends to feel supportive, calm, and non-harming. It does not shame, it doesn't threaten, it doesn't create panic. So healthy intuition leads towards clarity and alignment, not fear. Now, there are other clairs, but I'm not going to dive into them today. The goal is to learn how to deepen our intuitive awareness in a healthy way, not to force it, not through performance, just through presence and with a few gentle practices. So let's just list a couple of nice practices so that we can strengthen this wonderful, wonderful gift that has been given to us just because we're on this planet. The first gift is silence. Even 5 minutes each day helps intuition not to compete with the noise. And so finding that quiet, we will hear what we need to hear. Journaling. Journaling nudges the repeating symbols, the feelings, the writing down of our dreams, the patterns. Wonderful to journal right after you wake up to remember any dream or any messages that you might have gotten. Nature. We all know nature. Nature, it regulates our nervous system. And intuition becomes so clear when our body feels safe and calm. And then just having body awareness. Our body will sense it before our mind can explain it. So we need to pay attention to the cues that we're getting from our body. Remember, calm versus urgency. And discernment. Not every feeling is intuition. Sometimes fear can imitate intuition. And the difference is that fear constricts us and intuition steadies us and expands us. So, dear friends, we've got the clairs. Clear feeling, clear seeing, clear hearing, clear knowing. These are things that we can practice. The heart of it all, at the center of all the clairs, is the relationship with ourselves, with our inner voice, with our trust. And perhaps self-care in addition to the acupuncture and the hot soaks and the quiet. Perhaps the self-care is also learning to honor our inner knowing. Stop abandoning our instincts. Notice when our body says no. Notice when our soul quietly says yes. The clairs are not about being more special. They are about becoming more connected, more aware, more compassionate towards ourselves and others. And intuition isn't something we acquire. Intuition is something we remember, dear friends. In closing today, I invite you to stay curious. You do not need to label yourself. You do not need to perform spiritually. You do not need all the answers. Simply begin noticing. Notice our dreams, our feelings, our knowing, the moments our inner wisdom softly taps us on the shoulder. So, dear friends, maybe tonight before sleep, we place our hands on our heart and ask, what am I being invited to trust? And then listen gently. Next week on The Kitchen with Jean, we're celebrating the magic of black beans. Simple, affordable, ancient, and deeply nourishing. I've got recipes for you, and yes, dear friends, one of them is for brownies. Join me next week on The Kitchen with Jean. I'm so grateful for you, and thank you for spending this time with me today and wanting to learn about the clairs. Until next time, may you care for yourself with tenderness and deep inner trust. My dear friends, remember that this is Earth School. We are here to learn love, to love ourselves, to love each other. And please remember that life comes from us and life is for us. Have a beautiful week and find your clairs.